It's been a hot minute since I posted a backlog update. It's mainly because I've been really fucking busy and haven't finished anything. I'm at a point where both Triangle Strategy and System Shock 2 feel like they're coming to a head, so hopefully I'll have them done soon, but I was completely unable to get either of them or fucking that Machina robot thing I've been playing. I've even forgotten the name of it at the moment, done in time for this video. I'm actually kind of regretting my choice to play Triangle Strategy on hard, because as much as I'm really loving the game, and as satisfying as it is to strategize my way through a mission, the hard mode is designed like complete shit. After some very cursory googling, it seems as if that the only thing hard mode changes is that the enemies do 1.5 times damage, and you deal 0.75 times damage to them. Having an enemy grunt just waltz up to my beefier characters to have them smack me for half health is hard, sure, but it's also just immensely frustrating. I want to say it's like a lazy way of implementing a hard mode, but with a turn-based strategy game like this, maybe the developers' hands are tied somewhat, because it's an issue that plagues the genre kind of in its entirety. Although it's not souring the experience for me, it's nice to have to sit and think about each mission, because I'm at a point where I think that if I was playing on normal, I might be able to clear each mission with the same 3 characters each time. So conversely, I think I would have the opposite argument of the game is too easy if I was playing on normal. You feel me? Also, the punishment for failure is basically nothing in terms of actual in-game stuff. You even retain the experience you earn throughout each attempt, so eventually you'll just win based on numbers going up. I don't exactly know how much of it is left, and even if it's only a few missions, I might have to grind out the side battles, but I can probably get that one done soon, I think. So while I've not been finishing anything from my offline list, I've been going pretty hard on stream. I finished a game called Moon Crystal on the NES, which looks very pretty and has great animation on the sprites, considering the system it's on, but after the 3rd stage or so of this game, it becomes extremely annoying to play. It feels a bit clunky and unresponsive, which is easy to adapt to for platforming, but it becomes a huge issue for boss fights that require a hefty amount of precision, and while you're trying to get used to the fight, you die, and then you get sent back really far. It's not a bad game by any stretch, but it's one you'll want to bust out the save states for if you're just playing it casually. Also, not strictly part of the backlog since I finished it in 2013, but I did finish recently, again, Alice Madness Returns, the gaming equivalent of eating a plain cracker. It's attempting to have all this visual style with the world design, but everything is so empty, and the platforming is kind of boring and unchallenging because Alice has a fucking quadruple jump, and the combat is just mash attack until the enemy dies for most regular encounters, and then sometimes hold attack until the enemy dies for like enemies that need shooting with the pepper gun. Not awful, but forgettable. I haven't actually played the original American McGee's Alice, and I've been told by some that it's better, and by others that it's like trying to chew rusty nails. And I don't have the version of Madness Returns that came bundled with it, so I'll have to hunt it down and try it for myself. Another game that I finished recently that isn't part of my backlog, strictly speaking, was Silent Hill 4. I've always had the same experience with this game every time I play it, which is that I really liked the first half, and then Eileen turns up, and all the levels get reused, and then after I beat the final boss, I'm just kind of pissed off. There's a lot to like with Silent Hill 4 too, like the atmosphere and the horror are great, and the room turning from a safe zone to a ghost-infested shit pit that hurts you is a great way to get a scare out of game mechanics, but the escort quest gameplay is very ass, and the puzzles are stupid as fuck. Also, I didn't realize until this playthrough how sort of phoned in the final area feels. Like, in Silent Hill 1, nowhere has a bunch of puzzles and a kind of mind-bending layout, and there's similar things going on for 2 and 3, but 4 rolls along, and it's like, go touch some things in a corridor and fight a boss. I don't know, like, I'm just so done with Silent Hill 4 by the time I get to that point. I kind of appreciate not having to use my brain, but it's still quite a letdown. Still, cool story, looks great, sounds great. Terrible gameplay, but that's not exactly a hot take, I think. The The last game that I finished and that I want to talk about is Ape Out. It's the game you're watching in the background of this video. I love the visual style and the audio style of this game. It's very cool, but the gameplay is one note and the level design is extremely boring. The entire game is just running as fast as you can through corridors and throwing white blobs that represent soldiers into walls so they explode into gore. It's kind of cool for the first 2 chapters, but after that, I was, like, done with the idea. It feels like the kind of title that would have been a really good Flash game, but as a full-fledged PC release for nearly £13, it's extremely lacking. I've seen people compare it to Hotline Miami, probably because of the top-down perspective more than anything else, but Hotline Miami has actual level design and weapon variety and randomness to contend with and strategizing an approach to each stage, and Ape Out just has hold D and click sometimes. It's short too, there's not a lot of content here at all, which isn't inherently bad, but when all 4 of the game's stages are just essentially the same thing, and then you combine it with that price point, it stings a little. If you find it in a sale, do check it out, and maybe if you like to speedrun this style of game, you might get a kick out of it for more time than I ever will, but otherwise, just skip it for now. Anyway, that's it. I'm going to go and try and polish up Triangle and System Shock 2, so peace!